For breakfast, lunch, dinner or your midnight snack, satisfy your appetite here with food for the soul without a bitter aftertaste. Power your appetite with Ireland's positive sound. Spirit Radio. Spirit Radio, 87 to 95 FM. Live from the Network News Centre. This is News on the Hour.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Clín O'Dwyer. Greater cooperation between Gardaí and the PSNI is needed when it comes to immigration. The Taoiseach says Ireland will not provide a loophole for other countries' migration challenges. This follows increased numbers coming from Northern Ireland into the Republic since the UK enacted its Rwanda policy. Simon Harris says he'll protect our policies, but collaboration with the UK is necessary.
It's really important that we have good relations as good neighbours. I had an excellent conversation with the British Prime Minister on taking up office as Taoiseach. I think close collaboration and cooperation between the British and Irish governments on a range of issues is not just desirable but absolutely essential. But when it comes to migration, I do think it's important that there is collaboration where appropriate between the PSNI and the Gardaí.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister Helen McEntee will meet UK Home Secretary James Cleverly tomorrow. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was asked if the UK was exporting the problem now that his flagship policy has been turned into law.
Illegal migration is a global challenge, which is why you're seeing multiple countries talk about doing third country partnerships, looking at novel ways to solve this problem, and I believe will follow where the UK has led.
There are claims genuine community concerns are being exploited by groups with violent agendas. It comes amid a growing number of incidents targeting Gardaí and politicians. Crime journalist with the Irish Independent, Paul Williams, believes the government has allowed the situation to develop.
There is a problem with migration and immigration, and our system is broken down, and that's people would tell you that. And the government have let this vacuum develop, and then into that vacuum we have these ignorant, knuckle-dragging, tiny cohort of fascists who are taking over and are exploiting the genuine concerns of communities.
Support for Fianna Fáil is now at its lowest point in nearly 2 years. The latest Red Sea Business Post poll shows support for independence is up significantly at 19%. ANTU sits at 4%, with the Greens and Labour at 3% support. Political correspondent with the Business Post, Conal Thomas, thinks it's too early to say if Fianna Fáil is in crisis.
They've gone down now to 14%. That's the lowest point in nearly 2 years. There's a couple of reasons, for that. I think the first instance, there's the general sort of problem when you are a coalition partner, the difficulty being able to differentiate yourself from the other parties, from Fine Gael. Fine Gael have had a bit of a bump in this poll. They're up 1 point to 20%, largely due to Simon Harris's election as Taoiseach.
A senior Qatari official has urged Israel and Hamas to show more commitment and more seriousness in negotiations to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages. The US Secretary of State will be in Saudi Arabia this week for talks aimed at pushing for a peace agreement. Hamas says it'll send a delegation to Cairo tomorrow. A man has been arrested in the north after a man was seen wielding 2 machetes in County Tyrone. He was threatening people with the machetes in the Derry Road area of Coal Island shortly before 1:15 this afternoon. Officers attended and quickly arrested a man on suspicion of possession of an article with a blade or point in a public place. Pope Francis has made his first trip out of Rome for 7 months. On a visit to Venice, he asked worshippers to pray for him. The 87-year-old pontiff has had some health scares, including unexpectedly withdrawing from a Good Friday procession in March. A second man has died in Britain after an unusually strong batch of heroin was found circulating across North Devon. One man died from taking the substance on Friday, while the second lost his life yesterday. 10 people have been admitted to hospital there for treatment. 2 are still there. 2 men and 2 women who were arrested have now been released on bail pending further inquiries. Finally, there's been a full bill of Irish language events happening in Smithfield Square for Lawmore na Gaeilge, a one-day festival. Conradh na Gaeilge and Baile Clia na Gaeilge, who organised the event, wanted to give people the opportunity to celebrate the Irish language in the capital.